without electricity as authorities repair damaged power facilities in the aftermath of a powerful quake. President Rodrigo Duterte and fatigues quietly tried to visit Marawi City, but failed due to bad weather. And stars Sarah Geronimo and John Lloyd Cruz are back on the big screen. Good evening, I'm Mitzi Borromeo. Disaster officials confirm at least 2 persons died in yesterday's 6.5 magnitude earthquake that shook Leyte province and surrounding areas. More than 70 are injured. Cananga, a town in Leyte with the most damage, is now under a state of calamity. Residents are shaken by hundreds of aftershocks, and at least 3 provinces are without electricity: Samar, Leyte, and Bohol. Malacanang is calling for calm amid the tragedy. The tremor destroyed houses and other structures in Cananga, including a 2-story building. Cananga officials will pass a resolution placing the town under a state of calamity. Our senior correspondent David Santos has more.
The collapse of this 2-story building in downtown Cananga shows the extent of damage brought about by the earthquake in Leyte.
Kasi ito na yung second floor eh. Second floor. Ang first, wala na, bumagsak na.
The building hosts a number of establishments, including a grocery and a pension house. It failed to withstand the tremor and caved in, leaving a number of people trapped inside. Among them, Marian Superales, a store cashier.
Kung ano yung plano mo para sa akin, Lord, kung hanggang dito lang ako, tanggap ko na.
Superales gets help from a mother with 2 kids who were also rescued from the rubble. Groping in the dark and gasping for air, they sent text messages to guide rescue teams to their locations.
Sabihin mo sa kapatid ko, kailangan ma-rescue tayo sa gabi na to. Kasi pag hindi na tayo ma-rescue hanggang umaga, may tendency, patay na tayo.
After several hours, rescuers pulled 8 people, including the 2 children, out of the rubble. All but 1 survived. A man in his 40s died after he was crushed by huge concrete debris. Another victim, a woman, is in critical condition. Search and rescue operations were suspended early Friday.
Hindi natin masiguro until such time na ma-clear talaga siya, na wala ng katawan o tao dyan sa loob.
Tinitingnan pa rin natin yung may possibility na hindi pa mga na-report na mga injuries or casualties. Pero as of today, wala nang report of casualties.
Officials inspect the damage the morning after. Apparently, the more than a decade-old building hosted evacuees in the aftermath of Typhoon Yolanda in 2013. Its structural integrity now in doubt.
Meron kaming 4-story building. Across that, more than 50 years old. Our municipal hall is more than 50 years old. Ito is 2004 pa lang. Or 2000, like that. So, ito lang, bumagsak.
There were other signs of destruction in Cananga. A local motorcycle brings us to Barangay Libertad. The quake damaged roads, sewage system, a farm warehouse. This family is forced to smash the walls of their home destroyed by the quake.
Parang ganun na rin, ginigiba na rin yung mga damage ng lindol.
Kasi?
Para delikado kasi pag may malalaglagan na bata.
Erminia Rigori shows the injuries she got from falling debris while trying to protect her children at home.
Kagabi kami natutulog po sa kulungan ng baboy.
Jocelyn Añasco laments having her family spend the night in a pig pen. The tremor heavily damaged 2 of their houses, including one still under construction.
Nanood lang kami ng TV ng biyanan ko, tapos yun, pag gumanon agad, tapos ngayon, hinawakan ko yung TV, yung dito, tumama dito yung yung ganyan, dito, tapos pag tama dito sa hollow block, yun, lumabas ako, paglabas ko yun, na yan, wala na yan.
Local officials are assessing the extent of damage and assistance needed by residents. Tacloban Mayor Cristina Gonzalez offers aid for Cananga. She says her city is paying it forward for all the help it got after Yolanda. In Cananga, Leyte, David Santos, CNN Philippines.
For more perspective on the ground, we now talk to Cananga Leyte Vice Mayor Elmer Codilla, who joins us on the line. Good evening, Vice Mayor. Thank you for taking our call.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Vice Mayor, Cananga suffered...
This is Vice Mayor Elmer.
Yes. Sir, a lot of damage in the area. Can you give us an update on assessment so far and the damage in the area?
Actually, ma'am, no, we have finished this afternoon, no, partial rapid disaster needs assessment, or the ARDAN, this afternoon, together with our department managers or the engineers. Nag-ikot po sila sa ating lahat ng barangays. So we have one of our barangays in Barangay Rizal is meron po kaming in-evacuate ngayong gabi around 63 households, 63 families. Nandun yun, naka-shelter sila ngayon sa Rizal National High School dahil that mountain Sitius is
mga landslide
talaga nag-landslide talaga. So very dangerous na sa kanila. So that's why this afternoon Mayor Rowena pumunta talaga doon, at least ordering the barangay officials to assist, and we also send food items, food packs to the families, and then nandun na sila ngayon sa school.
So Vice Mayor, sa rescue operations, naabutan na po ba yung mga mahihirap na, yung mga isolated areas kasi maraming damage nga sa mountainous areas?
Actually, no, that's down the CTU, the 3 CTUs. We have also another barangay Limao. Daming nasisira doon ng mga school buildings, no. Even that Limao National High School, it's more than a hectare area. Siguro ililipat na lang namin yun. We'll transfer that site for another school site dahil grabe yung damage niya.
O nga po, nagpapakita po kami ng mga litrato nga po. So a lot of damage with schools, infrastructure, homes. Ano po ba kailangan? How can people help? What kind of aid is still needed for the area?
Actually, this afternoon, this evening, patatapos namin ng assessment. First, yung nag-response naman kami regarding sa mga food packs, no. Siguro by tomorrow, again, we'll have to convene again our MDR together with our Mayor Rowena to discuss what we can do after assessment.
Yes.
Assessment. So maybe tomorrow we can give mga details or whatever.
More updates.
So our updates like that.
Opo.
No. But this afternoon pala namatay yung isang kahapon. Dalawa na yung fatality.
So dalawa na po. Okay.
Tapos 37 yung injured. Tapos yung nasa hospital, 7 lang po nasa hospital.
Okay, sir. So marami yung right now, Kananga is under a state of calamity. Ano po ang susunod? Obviously, we want to look at rebuilding, but we know that aftershocks are still taking place. Ready po? Are you? Yes.
Late this afternoon, around mga 6:05 or 6:15, like that, no? Aftershock, medyo mahina-hina na.
Okay. Sir, ano pong message nyo? Because there might be people panicking. Ano po ang mensahe nyo sa mga tao?
Actually, no, kalmado naman dito ngayon sa bayan namin. Okay. Lalo na lang po, no, actually, kayo na naman tayo worldwide, minsahe na lang po from your municipal mayor, this is Elmer Cudilla, lalo na po yung mga kababayan namin abroad, yung mga kapatid natin dyan sa Manila. Ano lang po dito sa bayan natin, at least yung nangyari, isang building yung nag-collapse. So sa balita po, sinasabi maraming patay po dito sa bayan natin. Hindi po, yung namatay po, dalawa pong namatay. Dalawa lang po, ang isa kahapon, tapos isa ngayong araw na ito. So that's why dalawa lahat yung So hindi naman po nasabi na marami ang patay.
Opo. So,
dalawa po yung casualty. So yung hingi ko na lang po sa mga kababayan ko, lalo ng mga taga-Kananggahanon, we need your your prayers. Dasal po, dasal. Kailangan po namin.
Okay, and many people are sending their thoughts and prayers your way. Thank you very much,
Maraming
Kananga
salamat.
Vice Mayor, late Vice Mayor Elmer Codilla. Take care,
Salamat,
sir.
ma'am. God bless. God bless po. Thank you.
Ingat po, sir. Eastern Visayas was pitch dark last night in the aftermath of the earthquake. The National Grid Corporation is assessing the extent of damage to transmission facilities in the Visayas. Samar, Leyte, and Bohol are still without electricity. Local officials in Bohol are considering tapping power barges as alternative source. In Cebu, residents suffer from rotational brownouts due to low supply from Leyte. Cebu's main power distributor, the Visayan Electric Company, gets power from 3 plants in Leyte. Meanwhile, power is back in Negros Occidental and Negros Oriental. Electricity was restored a few hours after the quake. Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, Director Renato Solidum explains the reach of the strong quake that struck Leyte yesterday. Here's a part of that interview with our chief correspondent, Pia Ontiveros, on Newsnight.
Essentially, the fault that transects southern Leyte from this side, west of Biliran, to southern Leyte, transects the middle part. And the epicenter of the earthquake was straddling near the center in the mountains of Ormoc, Haro, and Kananga. Politically, though, the epicenter was in the area of Ormoc City. But the distances between Haro, Ormoc, and Kananga were almost the same. However, of course, it depends on the quality of buildings, the steepness of the slopes. You can either have collapsed buildings or landslides. We need to make sure that people are reminded that strong earthquakes cannot be forecasted.
Ormoc Airport in Leyte resumes operations tomorrow, Saturday. The Transportation Department announced this after completing the inspection of the airport, its runway, and passenger terminal building. The painting of displaced threshold markings was completed to warn aircraft of damaged portions of the runway. Here are some top stories from around the world. A video from the German government shows U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin shaking hands for the first time. The two leaders came together before the launch of the summit of G20 leaders in Hamburg, Germany, and their anticipated one-on-one meeting on the sidelines of the summit. The video shows a collegial encounter with Trump extending his right hand to a smiling Putin, who takes it. Trump then pats Putin's arm with his left hand. The video then cuts away to the two leaders standing side by side, with a smiling Trump appearing to pat Putin on the back with his left arm. Elaborate fireworks and rallies were held in Pyongyang to celebrate what North Korea describes as a successful test of a ballistic missile. North Korea claims the missile it launched on Tuesday is capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. Experts say it had the range to reach as far as Alaska. The celebrations come as the U.S. says it's prepared to do whatever is needed to counter North Korea. Pyongyang warns the U.S. will be doomed to a miserable end if it were to start a war. And U.S. Air Force and Japan Air Self-Defense Force units held a bilateral mission Thursday over the East China Sea. This mission was the first time B-1B Lancers held a joint training session with Japan's fighters at night. Officials say this training allows units to strengthen tactical skills and combine capabilities and develop strong working relationships. The flight comes as President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping prepare to meet at the G20 summit. The declaration of martial law in Mindanao did not affect Filipinos' satisfaction with President Duterte's performance, according to the latest social weather station survey. And power rates are going up this month. We'll tell you by how much when CNN Philippines Newsroom returns. Good evening to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you in the next segment of the newsroom, we have stories for you on what is happening in Marawi. So a few updates, a story from George Cahiles on Marawi residents rescued. And also we'll look at President Duterte's visit in Iligan today. We also have business news for you, so stay tuned for that. And let's see what people are saying on Facebook Live. We have greetings coming in from Alan Guarin. Hello to you. And Dandan Real. Also to Tony Montaño saying hello from Cebu City. Ako si Juliet joins us from Ohio in the USA. And also Charlene Bakula is watching from Taipei in Taiwan. And Johnny San Miguel watches us from Corpus Christi in Texas and says prayers for those in the earthquake and those under martial law. Melvi Edelin Reyes from Florida sends prayers for the earthquake victims, and Alvin Sagitan says he's praying for Leyte and Marawi all the way from Vancouver, Canada. Please let us know where you're watching from and what you think of the story. Stay tuned until the end of the show. You're back in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. President Duterte visits Iligan today. These are photos of the president. You see him wearing military fatigues. Accompanying him were his close-in security and special assistant to the president, Bongo, shouldering what appears to be a firearm. During his unannounced visit to Iligan, the president went to see the soldiers of the 2nd Mechanized Infantry Brigade in Barangay Maria Cristina. Mr. Duterte was supposed to visit Marawi City today, but the trip did not push through because of bad weather. Here's the president in his own words.
To be with the men, the fighting forces of government, I should show my face there. Hindi naman pwede yung peacetime ka na pumunta. Hindi naman yung sabihin mo na you place yourself in jeopardy. But somehow during the fighting, you should show yourself that you are with one in our desire to protect the republic.
The president also assured the troops of the government's unwavering support. The military says it may give its recommendation on martial law in Mindanao next week. AFP spokesman Brigadier General Restituto Padilla says the president expects a recommendation before the 60-day military rule lapses on July 22nd. Padilla says they still need to clear about 1,000 more houses in Marawi.
Because one, you cannot leave a building and just pass it over, because once the all clear sign is given and the buildings have not been cleared, there are presence of IEDs that have been left behind, unexploded ordnance such as grenades or bombs that may have been left there that need to be attended to.
A power bank saved civilians trapped in Marawi City. They were reunited with their families, but military says more than 100 remain inside the battle zone. Our George Cahiles has that story.
It's a welcome signal for trapped civilians in Marawi. The radio broadcast announces they can leave the war zone. But the military warns of danger as the escape route is still within the line of sight of MAUTE fighters. What you're seeing over there is Pumping Bridge, and our location is currently roughly 200 meters away from the position of the enemy, and we're hearing those airstrikes right now. And according to the military, that's roughly 400 meters away from our position.
Yung first at saka second bridges po natin, ito yung way out ng mga hostages natin or mga civilians na natrap inside the conflict area. Dito sa amin, sa area namin, fronting first at second bridges, ay mga snipers, tsaka yung mga grenade launchers po dito. Kasi ang position naman po namin may ilog sa harap. So, ang na-encounter namin, in fact, we have suffered also casualties. Just this morning, we have one killed. No?
The military rescued these 4 construction workers after they were trapped for more than 40 days inside the conflict zone. They hid inside a house, scoured for food amid the dangers of getting hit by enemy fire or bomb explosions.
Habang naghanap kami ng pagkain, nakakita kami ng power bank. Yun, nakontak namin yung Philippine Army. Saka sabi nila, takbo daw pagtapos bumbahin yung kalaban, takbo kayo patungong bridge. Yun, nakatakbo kami. May nag-abang doon mga tropa na Philippine Army natin. Yun, natulungan kami.
Government forces are relentless on crushing the enemy 46 days since clashes broke out in Marawi City. And these civilians are glad they are out of harm's way, unlike the more than 100 civilians still inside the battle zone.
Habang lumalabas sila, binobomba namin yung mga gilid-gilid para ma-prevent natin yung mga MAUTE mag-conduct ng mga sniping activities.
These rescued construction workers receive hugs and kisses from their loved ones after weeks of separation. An emotional reunion. Their husbands, sons, and fathers are now safe.
Nagdaom ko nga buhi, nagtuan ko nga patay na kay bulan ka pero wala na ako nagkita, wala nag-text. Nya atong pizza tres nakapangayog load, giloadan dahil na ako kasi yaman akong pagtawag na ako siyaman. Kipay kay ko buhi pag ndako akong anak. Sulod sa isa ka bulan kapin nagtago.
Sir, anong pakiramdam po? Nakita niyo po.
Masaya, sir. Mahirap din sa medyo.
They are emotionally shaken by the horrors of death and destruction. But there's nothing like surviving the war and moving forward with loved ones around. From Marawi City, George Kailes, CNN Philippines.
A large majority of Filipinos are satisfied with President Duterte's performance. That's according to the second quarter survey of the social weather stations. The survey shows 78% of Filipinos are satisfied with President Duterte, while 12% are not satisfied and 10% are undecided. This translates to a plus 66 net satisfaction rating, considered very good under SWS criteria. This number is up 3 percentage points compared to the first 3 months of the year. This is also the highest net satisfaction rating of the president since he took office. SWS carried out the survey from June 23rd to 26th. That's a month after the president declared martial law in Mindanao due to the crisis in Marawi. 1,200 people took part in the survey. The government released 10 political prisoners on Thursday. Now that they're free, the former detainees say they're happy, but not entirely. Joyce Ilas tells us why.
Old, frail, and sickly. That is how most of the 10 political prisoners freed by the government looked. Most spent the prime of their lives behind bars. Emeterio Antalan was convicted of murder and served almost 10 years in jail.
Doon parang baboy na pinapaliguan. Sabay-sabay kayong paliliguan. At yung resulta nun, maraming nagkakaroon ng masakit sa balat.
In a press conference, Antalan had to stop talking because he was feeling sick. Just 4 months ago, he had an operation after a heart attack. Apolonio Barado, convicted of multiple murder, also developed a heart problem in 2016, his 17th year in prison. But what pains him the most was being away from his family for such a long time.
Parang sukluban ako ng langit at lupa dahil iniisip ko makulong ka, walang kasalanan eh. Nakulong ako, ang bunso ko kinder. Ngayon, pang-anim na buwan na siya sa Dubai. Katrabaho siya.
While some prisoners couldn't wait to go home to their families, Josue Ungsod has no family left to go home to. He's now 56, having spent the last 20 years of his life in jail for murder.
Wala ko asawa, binata pa. Wala na rin mga magulang ko.
These political prisoners say they are happy to be given their freedom back. But they are quick to add, they feel sad that many other political prisoners remain in jail. Karapatan Secretary General Cristina Palabay says about 400 political prisoners are still languishing in prison. Some 120 of them are sick.
Mas masaya siguro kahit temporaring kalayaan kung ang lahat ng bilanggong politikal ay may i-release din doon sa ayon sa mga pinangako ng ating presidente.
The freed political prisoners are also urging the president to continue the peace talks with the National Democratic Front of the Philippines and complete the comprehensive agreement on social and economic reforms. They say the armed conflict will continue unless its root causes such as poverty are addressed. Joyce Ilas, CNN Philippines.
Diversified conglomerate San Miguel Corporation plans to submit its proposal to the government for a flood control project. In a disclosure to the Philippine Stock Exchange, SMC says the spillway from Laguna de Bay to Manila Bay is expected to prevent major flooding in Metro Manila during the rainy season. The proposal also includes a waste-to-energy component. Early this year, San Miguel submitted a proposal to construct a sea barrier and flood control system to protect the Manila Bay coastline. It's a joint project of SMC and land developer New San Jose Builders. After a record reduction in June, power distributor Meralco announced a slight increase in charges this month. Meralco says rates will go up by around 7 centavos per kilowatt hour, brought about by higher generation costs. That means a typical household consuming 200 kilowatts per hour will pay 15 pesos more. The July rate also reflects a refund of pass-through charges collected from January 2014 to December 2016, amounting to nearly 7 billion pesos. Government gives a green light for the food unit of San Miguel Corporation to operate 2 processing plants worth 2.4 billion pesos. The Board of Investments approved the application of San Miguel Food Incorporated for its proposed meat processing plants, one in Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur, and another in Pagbilao, Quezon. Both will be integrated processing facilities and fully mechanized. They're scheduled to operate in January 2018 and will employ more than 1,000 people. The wait is almost over for the big screen return of actors John Lloyd Cruz and Sarah Geronimo. CNN Philippines Newsroom will be right back. Good evening to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you in the final segment of the newsroom, entertainment news, including an update on the Metro Manila Film Fest Executive Committee. We've been hearing about some resignations, so an update on that story. Also, let's look at what people are saying online. I see some of our former colleagues, Jam Katapusan, Mark Sobrahani, and Ardel Castillo have joined. Good evening to you guys. We also have Jerry Liberato, who's saying hello from Dubai. Also, Cesario Hilario is watching from Sanya in China, and Danilo Anol is watching us from Cambodia. Roger King watches us from Spain, and also we have Prima Visaya Curle, who's watching from Australia. Thank you for all your messages tonight. Sorry we didn't have much time to say hello to everybody. Thank you for also